watch Action Sports Jax on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Now Action Sports Jax is on your radio. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
We made it to a Thursday here on Radio Row in Atlanta, Georgia. Super Bowl 53. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Marcel Robinson, and Stuart Weber still with us. They will join us. And Justin Kuzar back in Jacksonville, feeling oh so lonely in the room by himself. Kuz is pushing all the buttons. We've got a big show lined up again. Hey, it's hopping here in Atlanta. It is really hopping. We've seen just about everybody. All the stars are out, Austin Lane.
The pace has definitely picked up today. Yesterday you saw a little bit of it, but today, I mean, you name the celebrities, we've seen them. You know, Charlotte Flair. We actually have a surprise guest coming on, hopefully in the next couple minutes, who everybody should know. So it's been an exciting day, kind of seeing everybody in passing, and seen some old teammates as well.
Yeah, Charlotte Flair is not coming on. You saw her outside.
Well,
right?
I was on my scooter, man, and I would have loved to stop by and say what's up, but unfortunately, when I'm scooting, man, I'm focused, and I'm just trying to, crush some pavement. So unfortunately, Charlotte Flair is going to have to wait for another time.
Yeah, and we saw Herschel Walker.
Yeah,
right. You said hello to him. Talked about the football and MMA guy.
Yeah, he's really the kind of the first guy to do that. He's definitely the pioneer. I'm gonna be honest with you, Brent. Still looks like he could probably fight today.
It's unbelievable.
Dude's in crazy shape. Ridiculous.
We're trying to get him on, or maybe we'll have him on at some point. But obviously, he's
I'm sure he's in pretty high demand.
Yeah, he's in high demand. But the request is in on a lot of people too. And just to set the scene, I guess we always assume, and I shouldn't assume. Everybody's seen Radio Row, and so you kind of know what it looks like. And it's really just this collage of stars from all worlds. Mm-hmm. Here in Atlanta, big music hotbed, right? Yeah. So you got a lot of musicians. You have sometimes actors and actresses that come by. In the past, we've seen Alyssa Milano, you name it. Then you have your sports stars, right? And not only your current sports stars, but your legends, whether it's Pro Football Hall of Famers or just names that you know from the last few decades. So the Herschel Walkers, Juju Smith-Schuster's here. So that's the yesterday and today. And I've seen Dan Marino a couple times here today. So that's kind of the way it is. But all these networks and all these different stations and radio stations, TV stations, now digital platforms are all here in this World Congress Center. And it's a massive place, and they've done a nice job spreading it all out. But everybody's putting in requests. Everybody's chasing these guys out, and they all have handlers, which you'll have someday, Austin Lane. You'll have a handler.
Of course.
And you basically have to just try to talk that handler into giving you a few minutes.
Yeah. So thankfully, the guest coming up here, I actually had a connection with him, so I kind of spoke with him directly and got something set up here. And then, we talked to his handler and squared everything away. So it does help, having played in the league a little bit. You know a lot of people, obviously, and you meet people in passing. So it's definitely an advantage for sure. But at the same time, there's some people where, they're on a different level, basically, Brent, and you have to go through the handler.
Well, and some of the things, and it's a little different now. Like, I approach this from a TV perspective in these last few years only. Mm-hmm. And, you go grab whatever you can get. You need 30 seconds here or there or 20 seconds here or there, and you put a story together on these guys. Not a lot of long-form interviews like we do on Radio Row. And so what you start doing now is we know we're going to be at Super Bowls for years to come, and it's good making connections and say, okay, we can't get you this year. Let's get on your schedule for next year when you come here again. And that's kind of how it works. We're looking at Evander Holyfield right now, stopping at every single place. By the way, I think he has steak as well.
Oh, really?
And Deontay Wilder,
I'm starving.
The heavyweight champ, Deontay Wilder's scheduled to join us in just a couple moments. And that's what you always have to do when you go to Radio Row, and when we have a show and say scheduled.
Yes.
Because you never know if they're actually going to get over here to your table. But we're pretty confident that Deontay Wilder will be here in just a few minutes. Earlier today, I got a chance to actually went and found this guy. He wasn't here on Radio Row, but I had a chance to speak to Kyle Rudolph, the Minnesota Vikings tight end. Just a short interview, but obviously my point in doing that was trying to find a little bit more about John DeFilippo. Mm-hmm. And he was with the Vikings last year with Kyle Rudolph as a sensational tight end. And a little bit later on in the program, you hear my interview with Kyle Rudolph and his thoughts on John DeFilippo. But we have so many interviews from the last couple of days and today to get to here on the show, including this one's interesting. The guy that directed Deion Sanders' double play, the 30 for 30 that will debut tonight.
Can't wait.
And interesting backstory on Deion Sanders, how that came together. He also was the director for the two Bills, Bill Belichick and Bill Parcells. So if you like the 30 for 30s, I think you'll find this conversation pretty interesting a little bit later on in the show. So you went over to the NFL Experience. That's attached to this building, not just Radio Row, but if you're a fan, you try to come here, you see all the celebs, but you also go to the NFL Experience and just act like you're 7 years old again. How was it?
Well, I don't want to give everything away, Brent, but the fact of the matter is, and we have footage to prove this, my draft stock at quarterback just skyrocketed.
Oh.
Todd McShay, Mel Kiper, they're gonna have my name in their mouth a lot coming up here. So I apologize if if I can't come to the show a lot now, Brent, because I put my name on the map at quarterback.
Yeah, you better go get to work then. Throw it around a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the way I was throwing it, Brent, I think I'm all good. I'm ready to get that phone call on day one and just go play right away.
So you're balling, and my guess would you've been falling. So you're balling instead. Congratulations. What else did you do over there? You threw the football? You run the 40?
No, but we did kick a field goal. Well, I tried to kick a field goal. I put it back at 30 yards for Cody Parkey. I try to have a little redemption on his behalf. Unfortunately, it didn't go my way. The first one was close. Second one, I'm not gonna lie, Brent, almost tore my ACL. And kicking in van slip-ons probably isn't ideal. Yeah. And the turf conditions just weren't up to par.
Yeah, you've got a fight coming up. You might not want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it would be one thing if I turned my ACL and tell my coach what I did. I mean, yeah, I was kicking field goals, coach. Sorry about that. We'll get him next time.
Well, yesterday, I'll tell you what, where Austin impressed us, we went over to they have the Bridgestone Performance place for golf, and you could putt, and he made the putt. And that's why you get lucky making a putt. That's not a big deal. But he also hit the driver, or it was an iron, but they were testing for which ball would fit your swing. And I'm not going to lie, I had zero expectation for Austin Lane.
I don't golf.
With a golf club.
Yeah.
It was pretty good, man.
Be honest, Brent. Be honest.
Guy's an athlete.
Be honest, pretty good, right?
I mean, can't beat me in darts, but he's an athlete.
I'm an athlete. Yeah, I kind of have that gift where I can see someone doing something, and I can kind of, copy that to the best of my abilities. I think the guy working the Bridgestone Golf Center there said it was one of the best shots he's seen all day. And what made it even more sweeter was the fact that Stuart Weber also tried the Bridgestone Golf Challenge thing. And needless to say, as a guy who golfs a lot, kind of disappointing to see.
Well, at this point, just like the darts.
I think the nerves got to him a little bit.
Yeah, I think they did. So we're having some fun here at Radio Row and the NFL Experience. It's Super Bowl 53, and we've got a lot of conversations on the way. Of course, talking about the game, but talking to some of the celebs and the stars in the sports world. And that will continue right after this on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, live from Radio Row, Super Bowl 53 in Atlanta, Georgia.
Now, back to Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau
on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I see an explosive team with a lot of explosive players at every position. They can do a lot, man, and their running backs are versatile. I mean, the receivers can do a bunch, so they're going to have their place, so we just have to limit them, contain, bring it down to a minimum, but they're going to have them. I can't sit here and tell you they're not going to have a couple, big plays because, they're good.
Patrick Chung talking about the L.A. Rams and that game coming closer and closer to kickoff. 6:30 on Sunday night, CBS 47, the place to be, in front of your TV, in your living room, on your couch. Have a little Super Bowl party and flip on CBS 47 really all weekend long because there'll be tons and tons of Super Bowl coverage, both from us and from, of course, the national guys as we get closer and closer to kickoff. Rams, Patriots, Super Bowl 53. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, back on Radio Row, Super Bowl 53 in Atlanta. And we are going to break down this game. We already have broken down this game. I want to get your thoughts on how, again, you've said it a couple of times, but now after digesting it, listening to these guys talking to them Monday night at opening night, how do you think Bill Belichick is going to craft this game plan against a sometimes elaborate Rams offense?
I've talked about it all week. There's two possibilities. Well, there's actually three possibilities. The first one would be, playing that 4-3 base defense. The problem with that is the fact that it leaves them susceptible, to passes. And obviously, the Rams can pass the ball. Don't get it twisted. They have Todd Gurley, C.J. Anderson, but they also have some very capable receivers, especially with speed. The other option would be doing the nickel. And in that case, obviously, when you do the nickel, you're giving up a little bit in the run game, and with having Todd Gurley, C.J. Anderson in the run game, the last thing you want to do is get the ball ran down your throat. And that can change the whole momentum of the game. So what I think I see happening here is the fact that they're going to do like a base 4-3 hybrid where they might switch out a linebacker or a safety here or two. But I think the most important part with that defense is try to keep the Rams guessing. Another thing, too, to keep in mind also is that the Rams, the reason why they're so different is the fact that they run trips a lot. So that means that they have 3 wide receivers, as opposed to some teams who use tight ends to block, for the running game. The Rams rely a lot more on the receivers in bunch formation. So basically, they're a lot closer to the quarterback or to the offensive line than a usual receiver set will be. So another thing that the Patriots can do as well is jam those receivers, especially in the passing game, because if you jam the receiver, that's going to throw off the timing completely. And being the Los Angeles Rams, where timing and is everything. It's like a well-oiled machine. If you throw off that timing, and you have a young quarterback in Jared Goff, it could cause some problems.
Well, just like, again, and I love that point because I think we're talking a lot about the press coverage from the Patriots potentially against those bunch formations against the Rams. And what we leave out in this, where does Todd Gurley fit into the game plan? Because we don't know about his health. Everybody says he's going to be healthy. But Sean McVay said for a month now he's going to be healthy, and he really hasn't been utilized as much as most people thought he would. But again, the press coverage is really fascinating on both sides. Mm-hmm. It does feel like both teams have to take their chance, even if they don't love the matchups. And you hate to give up big plays in big games. You hate it. And that's why fans and analysts want to see press coverage, but coaches are like, yeah, but you're forgetting about the big play.
Exactly.
And we don't want to give up the big play. We don't want to go 2 minutes into this game and give up a 64-yard touchdown pass because someone slipped or missed on the press.
And especially with guys like Brandon Cooks, who's got speed for days. That's the last guy that you're going to try to press on, miss, and then get burnt deep. So I think pressing's obviously a lot more of a risk for the Patriots than it is for the Rams. I don't think the Patriots really have that burner guy that can beat you outside. So it's interesting to see what the Patriots are going to do for sure.
All right, I think Deontay Wilder, by the way, is making his way.
Oh man, he gets quite the entourage coming here. Very polarizing figure.
Why is he so polarizing?
A few things. Obviously, the way he fights.
Unorthodox, right?
Well, coming from a guy before him was like Klitschko, where it was just jab and grab, jab and grab, jab and grab. In enters this uber athlete, this athletic freak that can knock you out with any shot. So it's a combination of that. It's a combination of his personality. He's big in the fashion community as well. Honestly, the dude is the complete package, and there's kind of a controversy between, who's the real heavyweight, either him or Anthony Joshua. I'm taking Wilder all day because Wilder's not going to back down from the scary fights like Joshua is. And when he gets over here, we're going to talk about that as well.
Yeah, and I think he's probably wearing about $500,000 worth of jewelry.
Yeah, that looks pretty pricey. Absolutely.
I might ask him about that. Boxing money's big money.
Hey,
now.
do what you got to do, man. All right, he's coming right now.
He's coming to sit down right now here on ESPN 690. I'm going to welcome in Deontay Wilder with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane. Thanks, man. Appreciate you joining us. Hop into this microphone right here. I know I don't have to tell you what to do. You know how to handle that thing. Hey, okay, what's harder, Radio Row on a Thursday or prepping for your next heavyweight fight?
Man, Radio Row, man. It's always exhausting, and I'm always having the water bottle to my mouth. So but it's always exciting to be here. You see old faces, you get to come back and come back and hold a conversation with the old people you saw, and you meet new faces as well too, and you build new relationships. And this is a great thing about it. When I was coming into the facility today, because I'm an energy person, I go out for the energy when I meet people, when I go places, making decisions, and everything. So when I walked up and I said, man, the energy up in this place is amazing, and I'm still feeling good, and I'm meeting a lot of people, man. meeting a lot of positive energy people, and it's making my day go by great.
That's awesome. You bring a lot of energy, and you can tell, and obviously in the ring and outside the ring. But I want to ask you real quick. Evander Holyfield was just over here. What's that like? What's the relationships like between the greats, the guys that have won it, that have held the belt, that have done it before, and what's the reverence for a guy like Evander Holyfield from your perspective?
Yeah, man, Evander Holyfield is an amazing guy. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys that'll support you, and when he supports you and he say things about you, he don't change up. He keeps it how it is.